Say what? Look.
It's the new OGs. The new OGs is a State and Madison Entertainment production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your property, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, not only can Solar Masters only work with you if they can save you money, Solar Masters will actually award you a $500 cash card for going solar in 2023. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company with North American-based panel makers who have over 30 years of solar experience, and they even have a referral program that pays a minimum of $250 per referral. So get yourself over to www.gosolarmasters.com, get in contact for a free consultation, or to refer someone you know. The new OGs is also brought to you by the Save Toby Jones Tour with my main man, Rob Hines, one of our co-hosts here. Catch Rob Hines, famously known as Toby Jones from Jones Barbecue and Foot Massages. He embarks on this brand new tour, greeting all over the United States, stretching from New York to California to back again. What is going on, everybody? We are back for another great episode. The boys are back, the new OGs. Rob Hines, how you doing, baby?
I am outstanding. How about you, Bobby? How y'all doing?
Good, man. I'm living good. X, what about you?
X, are you?
I just want to see if y'all thought
I was like, where'd this nigga go?
I'm doing good. I wasn't frozen. I was fucking around.
You play too much.
I'm doing good, man. I got I'm stoked. I just got a message. I'm gonna be performing up at the Cake Stand in Milwaukee on the 19th.
Nice.
That's the Sunday show.
Nice.
Sunday.
Nice. Yeah, you've had some good stuff going on. You were just at Chuck last week. You've been all over the place. Killing niggas in roast battles.
Yeah,
Killing niggas in roast battles. Hey, I went back and
did, man. I saw that clip. I was like, oh goddamn.
he raped you horribly soft.
Because XL and I have had the pleasure of roast battling together, and I was like, man, I got him. Holy shit, I'm killing it. And you had a bad night that night. You had a bad night, and I've seen you have a couple of bad roast battle nights, but then I saw you on this one, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, XL must have gotten mad about them previous roast battles because he was not taking the L on this one.
Well, okay, I always say it sounds like an excuse. He roasted. He destroyed me on the roast battle. But I made a horrible miscalculation on. I had a funny one line that was literally like the best thing that Bobby could ever ask for, because we had to like make each other.
Yeah, he served me.
And I'm horrible with accents, and he tried to make me tell jokes with a German accent. I can't do accents. It was horrible. But then I was like, you got to talk like a nigga or something like that. And he was like, it's all I ever wanted to hear in my whole life. and he just started roasting it. I was like, shit. I literally just like, he's like, oh, fuck? He's like, it's all I ever been waiting for. He literally like,
he started crying and shit.
That's like I lost a roast battle at Jay Washington once because we had to do our roast in the style of a black preacher, and Jay just has that more than I got.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Jay just just was able to get in the bag on that one. Jay's whole act is basically like a sermon.
I'm the only one. Is it just me? I'm the only one.
Right. Yeah, his energy is very deaconish.
Hey man, but I tell you what, like, he didn't rolls past that. If I'm the only one, shit. Like he actually doing bits. That motherfucker funny as hell.
Really?
Yeah, I've been checking out his YouTube. That nigga, he got strong.
That's awesome, man.
Shout out
That's
Jay
awesome.
Washington.
Jay Washington love
shout outs. Rob, what's up, man? What you got going on? What's happening?
Oh my goodness, man. The university's in the business of blessing. So I got back home on Monday from being in Chicago and eating way too much sugar, feeling sickly and shit. Got home and start putting up my stuff and shit. Now, my publicist is like, look, man, I'm just going to tell you, you need to put up 6 things a day. So I just started taping me doing regular stuff that I always do and put it up. And man, I've been putting stuff up on YouTube, and I'm on a good day, I get 150 people to see it. 2,000 people watch me put together this little set. 2,000. 2,000 people. And I was like, damn. When I walk the dog, 700-800 people watching me walk the dog. I'm like, man, this is all I had to do the whole time. This is what I had for lunch, y'all. Bloop.
Yeah, I think the metrics of for that shit is
the metrics of the matrix.
The metrics of the matrix. Kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about when I don't. But I think basically the way the algorithm works is if you just keep constantly putting shit up, eventually it does like a snowball thing because that's how something catches. I was just having a conversation with a group of comic that will remain nameless. Does very, very overdramatic retellings of things, and it kind of looks weird. But he posts them every day. He posts them on YouTube, and he has like 100 posts. And I'm like, everybody's making fun of him, and I was like, that motherfucker's gonna go viral, and we're all gonna be opening for him in like 2 years because he's gonna get better. And when he gets better, he already has that big thing, and people are gonna look at him be horrible and see him be good, and he's like, you're wrong.
I saw something where
he has a story.
I saw something where they were talking about. I think the dude's name is Keith Lee. His rise on TikTok recently, and dude came from nowhere to have like millions of followers, and it's just like really simple shit. Like he's engaging. His setup is similar all the time. It's not a bunch of different crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's got something that people can kind of count on if they see his stuff. Right. And right off the bat, it's very much him, I mean, it's got its own personality. So those are the things that seem to be working. And so, if your style is watch Toby Jones go through his day of doing shit, and, people are into that because they want to see what the fuck you be doing in your downtime. And also like you have a perspective, that works. If you're actually talking about life and shit while you're doing that, like, people will watch like a lot. There's a thing on TikTok where a lot of where women will like start doing like makeup tutorials, and then we'll talk about like lady shit where it's like, oh, the men are gone now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's talk about the real shit that's going on. Or like I think when the whole hijab thing was going on, like the way you can get away with slipping shit through is like people stop watching if you're doing something, dudes will stop watching if you're doing a makeup tutorial.
Right.
You know what I mean? They ain't watch you put on all that shit. And so like that's when you can really start talking about some shit. So like you go on a walk on with your dog, but you talk about a life thing or like a thing about success or fighting for and like now you pulling in attention that way.
Man, you know what's funny, man?
I can tell you spoil the shit out of your dog because your dog don't listen to you for shit.
What were you saying, Rob?
You know what? And it's so funny because if you're in the middle of it, like I'm trying to capture it and I can only pay attention to one thing at a time. And then when I look down to figure out why she wasn't sitting down, it's because she was looking around because people was walking by. She like, fuck these motherfuckers. Like she was on her little security shit. And sometimes that is way more important to her than listening. So that's why I snapped my finger, then she'll sit down. But what was fucked up is she wasn't on security. It was a cat. It was a cat. It was a cat. That's what I wrote. I put that up next. There was somebody who had a cat hood on their car. Like it was a cat. It was an actual, and it was the head of a cat.
Yeah.
It was in the car on the seat cover. It was a seat cover, and the dog seen the seat cover like what?
That is not how they usually look.
Yeah.
The fuck happened to you?
Let's kick this week off, man. Let's talk about the shit we got going on the show right now. I want to kick it off with a little Black excellence. Wyclef Jean. I don't know if you remember Wyclef Jean. He is singer of Gone Till November.
911.
The most successful producer that I hate.
And why do you hate Wyclef Jean, XO?
Actually, when the Fugees split up, I never liked the Fugees because I always thought Lauryn Hill was too talented to be fucking with them. And she shouldn't have been with either one of them. And then I found out that Wyclef broke Lauryn Hill's heart. And I'm a huge Lauryn Hill fan. I was like, fuck, like I didn't like he made some jams, and I refused to get into those jams because fuck Wyclef. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing.
No connection to Wyclef whatsoever.
Wyclef Jean is a very talented producer, and Lauryn Hill is a very talented singer, and that's what I will say about the Fugees.
Because I don't know nothing about nothing.
That other nigga, he was nothing. He was a dude that they're like, when you one guy, yeah, Praz. I don't know what that was. That was a dude. That was like
a politician now.
That was like a G League rapper.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you how much he sucked. I even forgot he was one of them.
But here's the thing with Wyclef Jean, realizing that he's never getting the band back together. He has put a big interest into cars, and I think he had redone a DeLorean at one point or something, or he's made some crazy one-off cars, but he's actually started his own car company. And he's coming out with an electric supercar, and I'm going to post a picture of it up in here so people can see this as we're looking at it. This is a car called the Attucks Apex APO, which all these electric supercars have funky ass names like this. So that is not crazy. But he did name the car the Attucks, which is supposed to be named after Crispus Attucks. That is intentional on his part.
That's dope. So, I was wondering if that was what it was.
Yeah. So he started a car company, and the first car that he came out with, he's named after Crispus Attucks. So he's furthering a little black excellence here. The car is supposed to weigh only 2,600 pounds, which makes it only about 300 pounds heavier than a Mazda MX-5 Miata. So you think that's like the weight of this car is like a little bit heavier than a Miata. So 1,000 pounds less than a Chevy Bolt EV. So all electric car, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, 640 horsepower. So that is pretty crazy. Yeah, this is
okay.
Like,
so here's the thing. Shit. Here's the thing. I'm sure that there's an explanation for it, but a car that light with that much horsepower sounds like it's going to fly.
So the reason why the car has the shape that it does is to keep it on the ground.
Okay.
That's the whole like when you look at the
whole aerodynamics.
When you look at the car, you'll see like there are holes in the front and down the sides of the car that go over the tires, and all that is to drag air to keep the car on the ground.
Okay.
Yep, that's the whole job. It's still also 2,600 pounds, right? It's still like a ton and change going that speed. So like, you'll be able to do that on a straight line. So you can like run a straight track like that. But once you start getting into turns, you're not going 190 in a turn. You got to bring that down a little bit. So you're never going to do that. And also at that point, there's probably, if you're talking about taking this on a track, there's probably additional gear that you have to keep yourself on the earth. So it can be done
in the desert.
It can be done. Yeah, they do a lot of that stuff. But I think this car is gorgeous. They're talking about 350 grand. You can actually reserve your car right now. So it's available. It's supposed to be out in 2024, which means probably 2026 if it's like every electric car company out there. Every electric car company, this shit comes out at least, if it even happens, it's 2 years later than what they said it was going to be. But what do you think about, this is the only, like, as far as a car that you could have in America, this is the only black, it's headquartered in Miami. This is an American car company.
I'm 100% with it. I don't
think
know
it's bad
if
as
my
fuck.
gigantic ass belongs in a 2,600 pound car. I don't think that's gonna work.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna tell you right now. I know cars. This one ain't for you.
So I'm gonna have to miss out on that. But I would love to, have one just as a collector.
Yeah, there are probably ways. Here's the thing. If you had $360,000 to buy a car, you probably got the money to have it outfitted for you if you want to drive it.
Yeah,
they got ways.
Yeah, they'll push the cockpit over a little bit more.
Also, the dope.
Shaq owned a Ferrari, okay?
Yeah. Shaq got almost a foot on it.
And the engine is behind you in that car, so somehow they made that motherfucker work for him. So
yeah.
They figured it out.
But having it named after Crispus Attucks, man, that just takes it so far over the moon for me, man. That's hey, Wyclef, I forgive you.
I'm not. Fuck capitalism and everything, but in the current system, if you a black baller and you got money, and you're about to go get you an electric supercar, and you can go give that money to somebody in Italy or Germany. Or you give that money to fucking, or you can get yourself a fucking Attucks. Yeah, nigga, I got the crispest Attucks supercar, my nigga. We starting riots with this bitch.
Look, pull up in that motherfucker with a joint in your mouth. I'm
and
like,
the car looks dope.
And driving supercars.
When I saw the article before I saw the pictures, I was like, please, because the last car that he made, like, it was dog shit looking. It looked like he made it out of toilet paper. It was fucked up. So like before I saw the picture, I was like, please don't let this thing suck. And it's dope looking. So I'm excited for that. And some other Black excellence, looks like BET is up for sale. BET Media Group is up for sale. The leading person to potentially take that over is Tyler Perry, who I am happy that Tyler Perry is successful. I am not a giant fan of Tyler Perry material, the Medea shit and all the other fucking, like, it's not my favorite, but like, I am glad that he does well though, because I'm rooting for everybody Black. So
yeah,
and also his shit isn't like, it's not that I think it's terrible or harmful necessarily, right? Like if he was making money doing foul shit, I'd be like, I can't side with that. But his shit is like, hey man, the audience all seem like pretty decent people. You know what I mean? Like the people that like it, I'm like, oh, I like y'all. I just don't like this. So fine, whatever. You know, I'm glad this nigga's a billionaire.
Also, I love that his studio is producing so much content and it has so many people down in Atlanta or outside Atlanta working. It's dope. There's also another potential buyer, Byron Allen. The Weather Channel there's supposedly a bidding war. I would love if they got together on something and maybe work together. That would be a great power move for. They don't. I don't even know if they know each other, but hell, they're both in entertainment. They have to,
man, at that level.
They had to have crossed paths before somehow, some way. But
here's why I'm like chill with Tyler Perry, even though I don't love the shit that he personally makes. Is I feel like if an opportunity came for like one of us to work with Tyler Perry and we still want to do the shit that we want to do, I think he'd be like, yeah, fucking do your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he would give you the freedom as an artist to like make your shit, and it wouldn't have to necessarily be his thought process. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he seems like somebody who might give that leeway.
You watched the show Atlanta?
Yeah.
Did you watch the final season?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I did.
We can't talk. Let's not talk about it, Rob. I don't want to spoil it for him, but he has a particular impression of Mr. Perry.
Okay.
That was
without ruining anything, we can tell you that it's nothing new. That's all.
Yeah. I would be. I love Byron Allen is like a hero of mine, so I would love it if Byron Allen took it over. I think that'd be great. But I would also Tyler Perry would work too. As I would like somebody, either one of them brothers. I'd be like over the moon.
Hey man, I saw Byron Allen at the Improv one night, and I was fanboying so bad I just couldn't even walk up to the man and say hello. My mouth was open because I'm saying I'm old. I remember Byron Allen from Real People. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there like, damn, it's that dude that owned everything. And he looked
the
like
Weather Channel, my nigga.
God, like, dude, everything. Like, they underestimated him, and he
owned the weather.
Their ass. I love Byron Allen, man.
Yeah, that's why you're making climate change happen, because we own the weather now. We're like, deal with it. It's gonna get hot.
Look, they done took that shit. Look, Byron Allen made them motherfuckers take this shit off of DirecTV. They ain't got shit on here no more. They got AccuWeather or some shit. Go ahead, X. I'm sorry.
I was thinking about. I just started thinking about climate change and how nice this winter has been here in Chicago, and how much I really hope that we can stop climate change, but right here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't gotta go back. We ain't gotta go all the way back. Like, just let the shit hover. Like, right here.
Yeah, we can just hold it up.
Don't make it no worse, but don't make it no better either. This might be the best Chicago winter of my lifetime that I can think of. It was cold, a good one, but it wasn't insane.
No, I had no problem going out on any day this year. Not really worried. There was no negative 40 days I can recall.
No, I think we had like one or two, but it was like
negative 40.
Really cold day.
Maybe
like wind chill, maybe. Not actual.
Maybe
but
okay.
But that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. In a state where it is a little warmer, where I also have a residency, California has a first in the nation task force on reparations, and they agree the residents should qualify for compensation. So they are now currently doing a drill down to find out who should be eligible, which seems like show your papers, nigga, which is very concerning, but also you want to get paid. So what are you gonna do, right? Like,
hey, look here. Okay. I know I'm gonna sound like.
So what do I gotta sign? 300 and what thousand? Hold on. Here's what black people do. They talking about $360,000 a person, right? How much is that motherfucking Attucks car?
Look, I got an idea. It sounds crazy, but what if we get Wyclef Jean to make an electric sports car? I don't know, sell it for like 350 grand. Just stick with me here.
Let's open up a Wyclef Jean dealership in California.
How many? Okay, what percentage of black people who would get reparations in California would turn that money right over to Attucks?
Hey man, I'm saying, you have a brilliant idea. Let's talk to Wyclef right now and open one up down here in Koreatown.
Wow.
What, X? Tell me why.
Nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong. I hate the accuracy of this shit. I hate that. This shit seems too right. We might have fucked up the whole conspiracy. Shut it down. Shut it down. They figured it out.
Wait. Before time out 20 seconds. Wait, before we throw everybody money at Wyclef, they are at least doing more than just the money. They're doing money and land and like mental health services and all type of other stuff to make a more holistic attempt so that we don't all buy Wyclef Jean cars.
Hey,
maybe they can hold off on the money for a year or two while they straighten us out for a minute. You know what I mean? Like you gotta go through a couple of classes, like, and then you get it, so they can kind of talk you out of that shit and be like, "Why don't you just get like a nice Nissan?"
It's gonna be about a few percent that's gonna get to the Wyclef.
Oh, yes. The diamond necklace would be dope as fuck. But you know what else would be dope as fuck? Land.
Some of these niggas gonna get their land, get their money, buy a Wyclef, then sell the land and buy something else useless.
Man.
Not a tractor.
Oh my God.
A Wyclef.
Hey, but no, here's the thing. This shit
They're gonna get a Wyclef with a plow on the front.
I'm about to shit on something that's actually beautiful. The mental health care component of this. I'm a proponent of mental health care. I think people should do it. But the idea that they thought to add that shit in there, just like they just realized, man, it's been pretty tough being black, huh? You should probably talk to somebody about it.
Let's talk to these niggas out of buying these Wyclef. That is so funny, man. It didn't even occur to me that the two were related. You know,
it just lines up so right. It just lines up so right. You know what I mean?
You got $9,000 left just so you have the money to go somewhere in your motherfucking Wyclef.
Yeah. Well, you gotta pay some taxes. That's what that's just
Take
for.
That shit back and go get back 150 of my 200 some thousand.
Hey man, I hate to say it. If California gave me $350,000, the first thing I would do is move the fuck out of California.
No, well, you know what? If they gave me 350 and some land, that might be the case.
The land would be the kicker. That'd be the part where like, all right.
I'm gonna stay here since I can stay here. You know.
We're gonna cut to this new section called "Ooh, They Mad," which is generally about white people who can't deal with anything that they don't like. A restaurant, a bunch of employees from a restaurant walked out and have laid a claim against this restaurant for the restaurant deciding to serve a cocktail called the Caucasian. When they decide they want to sell this thing called the Caucasian, 25 employees left the establishment right away. They said it was an easy decision. The house manager is the person who is saying this. It was not an easy decision for us. That was claimed by Megan Dietz. Apparently, what happened was they came out with this thing called the Caucasian, and they said, well, the guy who runs the place said, well, get ready because in a week we're going to come out with something called the Negro, a cocktail called the Negro. And that's when they're like, oh, we're done. We're out. So the Caucasian didn't make him leave, but when he said we're following this up with the Negro, he said, buckle up is what he told her.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, buckle up. The guy's name is Hoffman. I'm looking for his first name here so I can be more accurate.
Hopefully
but yeah,
it isn't Dustin.
Oh my God!
No, it's Donald Hoffman.
Yeah, that's Dustin's other name.
He's the owner of Mila Kitchen at Jack's Hard Cider, and this is in Mountain Joy Township in Gettysburg. So that's crazy, man. You can't come out with a cocktail called the Negro. I'm just gonna tell you right now. That's a bad idea. You know, Rob, what are you looking for? Is your dog going crazy?
She's just moving around, trying to get her to sit down. That's all. I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening.
No.
What I think about the cocktail, the Negro, is, well, you know what? You was gonna call me that when I brought it to you anyway. No, I'm gonna say this, man. I don't see. I don't know. That bothers me, but not to the level at which that he could own a bar there and I can't right now. You know what I mean? Like that. The capitalism is more angering than anything else.
Mount Joy Township is in Pennsylvania, so this is not even a southern state. This is just a state where people do weird racist shit for no reason.
Honestly, I think it's the only reason why motherfuckers are drinking Negronis right now. It's because it gets them close when they say it. Like, can I get a Negroni?
One of the statements this guy made is, I cannot just tax and spend like the country that provides you the right to be outraged by the slightest thing. That's what he told her in an email. Like basically just deal with the fact I want to call this shit the Negro and the Caucasian and fucking live with it. And some other news, Michael Knowles, who is a host of a show on the Daily Wire, which is a racist network, he spoke at CPAC and talked about the need to eradicate transgenderism. I'll show a quick clip of that.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
So here he talks about eradicating transgenderism. Then he has this clip after this where he's talking about demons. And so I'll show a clip of this where this dude is talking about how demons are getting into the AI.
My alternative explanation, hear me out, is what if it is demons? I don't want to sound like the guy on the History Channel, you know, who says that everything is because of aliens, and I don't think everything is because of demons, but like some things are, and hear me out. This is why I think maybe, I'm just suggesting, I'm not saying this is what it is if you believe that there is evil in the world, I think you have to believe that, right? Everybody believes there is evil in the world. Okay. The question is evil personal or impersonal? Is it an impersonal force or is it a personal force? Now, it seems to me evil has a personality. That's what pretty much everybody for all of human history has believed, including modern liberals. In the past, we call that personality the devil. We call that personality demons. And today, even in our modern atheistic secular culture, we still ascribe personality to evil. We say Hitler is the embodiment of evil. Or we say, I don't know, this slave owner is the embodiment of evil. So we talk about the embodiment, the personality of evil. It would seem to me that evil has a personality. Now, the modern libs are wrong in that the personality of evil would be purely spiritual, would not be physical. It's not just an individual person, like a human being. We'd call that person the devil. And what does evil do in the world? Evil tempts us. Evil causes us to suffer. Isn't it so weird? Sometimes you feel, regardless of what your temptation is, at just the moments of your weakness, that's when the temptation seems to show up. It seems that the way evil works would be pretty similar to how pretty much everyone for all of human history, from the most pagan culture to the most Christian culture, sees evil working. Okay. With artificial intelligence, I'm not saying AI is the devil or computers are the devil, but evil spirits can use these things. The person.
All right, so this guy's talking about demons getting into AI, y'all. First of all, I mean, yes, I am agnostic, but also it seems like anybody who thinks demons are just around doing shit might have a mental health issue. Is that?
Or that's just the best lie that they come up with at the time.
Bobby, I think you don't know. There's a lot of people that believe that demon shit, man. That shit is prevalent. Like that's why he says it so casually. But here's the thing that's crazy about it is the logic of the shit, like where their brain goes is so limited in a small box. Because if demons were real, why the fuck demons would be the AI? Like they would need AI.
Right.
Why the fuck would they need AI? It's a demon.
Like if there were demons running around,
demons need software. Think demon needs to get anyway. If demons get 5G, it's over. What are you talking about? That shit's absurd. It's absurd to believe that there are demons that can do evil things and can control your thoughts, and that they have a need for fucking software. They're an ethereal creature. Why the fuck would they need software? It's stupid. The logic doesn't even make the. Ugh.
Here's the other part of this, though, right? Like there is an element of religion or this kind of faith that is performative, right? Like you need to out spiritual everybody else who's spiritual. And so if you're talking to an audience that is believers in Christ, and there's angels and devils that you got to be dealing with, then it becomes this thing where you are like, you got to outthink what the next thing you got to create the fear with is, right? So like you got to bring demons into the AI. Now, does he really believe that demons are in the AI? It doesn't even matter, right? Like he's trying to sell a thing. He's trying to be like, he's trying to sell the spirituality to the people who are spiritual about shit. To the people that do think demons are around, he's giving them a thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm just saying this is what I think. I think he don't believe that bullshit. What he think is, I'm gonna get all these people to believe it, and these people gonna pay me for you saying it. All I need is access to a bunch of people. Don't have to be factual. It have to be capitalist.
Well, because if you watch in the video, he's like, I'm not saying it is. I'm just suggesting that maybe it could be. And what dumb people do is they don't hear any of that shit. All they heard was demons in the AI. Demons in the AI. That's all they heard. And
I get what you're saying. I get what you're trying to tell me because the evil are listening. This is
right.
Media. They don't even. This their media, so we can't really say what we mean.
Speaking of telling dumb people lies and half truths, we didn't have this on the rundown, but have you guys seen the stuff about Fox News being caught lying, like having to admit multiple times that they've been lying? Under oath. And, and also the Tucker Carlson text messages of how he hates Trump passionately. These are Tucker Carlson's words. We have to pretend like Trump was a big win. These 4 years have been terrible, but we have to act like he did something, like there was some big get and there was nothing. Like those are Tucker Carlson's true feelings, because this is a personal text message. This isn't, anything performative. So that's how he really feels. And it's insane because nobody on Fox probably knows that that shit's even out there, because they don't look at any media or any place that they would see.
There was one guy on Fox who actually was on there, was like, he basically straight up said, was like, listen, I know that a lot of people are wondering like why we're not talking about all the stuff going on with the lawsuits that are happening. He goes, and I would love to, but frankly, I'm an employee, and like I'm not gonna fuck my shit up for y'all.
I got
He basically said this. He's like, I would love to talk about that, but like, this is my fucking employer, y'all. Like, what the fuck do you got your goddamn mind? Like, I ain't fucking my shit up for y'all. read the other shit. Go find it.
You can always find it on another network.
He's the coach. He's the coach from School Days. Do you want me to lose my job?
Yeah, right. And some other crazy shit. There are a bunch of states right now that are changing laws on how old you have to be to work, lowering the laws, dropping it down 14 to, I think Arkansas is in the process of doing this right now. And originally, it's interesting because there's been a few stories that have come out at some of these plants, and like Hyundai has a plant in the South where they found like children working there who are like 14 and shit like that. And actually, you brought up a good point in the pre-show discussion where you were talking about the fact about how they're trying to do this. They can retroactively deal with the fact that they're migrant children working here, like, or immigrant children working at these factories, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're basically trying to to y'all, you Marvel fucking fans, they're trying to retcon it. Like, yeah, it's legal. Like we knew the law was going that direction, and then we gave them this opportunity. But yeah, they have migrant children, kids working in there. They have them working late. They have also they're removing laws to have to verify age, which, hey, when you're sending your child somewhere, you definitely want to have them not be verified as of their age or anything like that. You want to have it is insane. It's absurd. And it's also kind of scary. Like, what the fuck is going on that they need children that bad?
This is a problem of capitalism, obviously, right? Like, there shouldn't be a world in which the same age where kids should be like just getting into high school to just kind of figure out what we talk about the fact you can't even rent a car till you're 25 because your brain isn't fully developed, and you're in a factory like stamping metal and shit. Like, what?
And these are like meat processing plants, so there's actual dangerous shit happening there. This isn't. We're not talking. These kids aren't like at Dunder Mifflin. These kids are like real fucking places where you can get hurt.
And in addition to that, some of these kids aren't getting paid.
Right.
Some of these kids aren't getting paid at all. What's happening is slavery.
Right.
It is still slavery. Today, right now, it should be illegal,
South.
But it is not.
I just realized that America is addicted to slavery, man. Slavery is crack rock to America. Like, y'all ain't gonna let us slave a little bit. Come on, let us slave some.
Can we slave immigrants? Can we slave
slavery?
Can we slave immigrants? Let us slave them. They're not even Americans. Let us slave them, y'all.
Is there anybody in this bitch y'all don't care about?
No, wait, you said y'all meant, when y'all said no slavery, y'all meant no slavery, damn.
Like, not even the homeless?
Hey, look,
not even the homeless?
This is what's so crazy. My brothers, listen to me and feel me for just 1 second, because me and the Reefer have to make a quick point.
Yes.
The universe is in the business of giving, right? Even the evil motherfuckers get gifts. But the question is, do you use the gift and how? These people crying, we can't get nobody taking none of these shitty jobs. Then you got hungry motherfuckers like, hey, we'll take the shitty job. And then it's like, okay, we'll give them to you, but you got to work for free. Like, my God. And all the while that you working for free, they got half these motherfuckers who got you at the job are paying people to say that you shouldn't be here. Because what they actually want is you to work for free and then to be able to treat you like shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the setup here the whole time. And nobody seems to want to recognize that that's what's going down, because they keep shifting it to somebody else every time they get a chance to do it. They call it a different thing. They change the labor law. Like, I'm telling you, there is no reason. Like, I worked at 14. I delivered prescriptions on a bicycle for 3 hours a night, 3 days a week. That was it. I worked like 9-10 hours a week. You know what I mean? Enough to have like a little like half day, Little Caesars money, like I could do that shit like in high school for a summer, right? That's essentially that's essentially the type of gig I worked at 14. I wasn't in no goddamn packing plant. I was riding my bike around Chicago, dropping off prescriptions at old lady buildings up on Lakeshore Drive. That's what I did. That's what I did, man. At 14, I got a little bike with a little basket. If I'd have known what drugs really was back then, I don't know what the fuck was in them, but I'm sure some of them shits was some pain relief pills I was driving around. Who knows what would have got somewhere? Them bitches wouldn't even remember. They all had dementia and shit. Nobody would remember that shit anyway. I could have stole so many pills if I was 14.
Oh my God, you are such a raw capitalist.
Tablets, I just been
Bitch, you
eating
ain't
them.
gonna
I wouldn't have
even
been selling
remember
them nowhere. I just been fucking. Fortunately, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just delivering them shits and
But
getting tips and shit. But
did
like,
you hear how you described it? These bitches ain't gonna remember this. Let me get this. My God, you are. Hey man, I salute you as a great American. Hey, let me just throw this in real quick before we go in. So I'm doing this new joke, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because America can also be funny. So I'm doing this joke about how, and this goes back to the munitions. The shit that we trained on came from like Vietnam and World War II. That means that they had stockpiled shit that far back, and it still worked like it was new. I'm saying these people had engines in these things that are called Detroit diesels. And there is nothing more American than sitting in a killing machine that was made in Detroit. Dude, This thing was powerful. And they still was working. And this was in the 80s. Now, this shit is from the 40s and the 60s. Shit still was working.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
They have stockpile munitions forever.
Listen, I mean, their shit is, and it's loud. It's all the heaviest shit. When you look at the budgets of like the American military versus other countries, like that's why when it really comes down to it, like at the end of the day, if it really came down to it, both Russia and China would have to let loose on the nukes because if you want to talk reality, them niggas ain't got no shot. Like,
well, they may have a shot because we let
standpoint,
them make all the damn chips and shit. So they may have to
not anymore, my nigga.
Hey,
Dark Brandon changed that shit.
Hey, can I point out real quick that Rob time jumped again on me, and you went to the military, back to that military shit. I was like, I was confused again. I was like, wait, the fuck happened?
I did. At least I called the timeout. I don't know.
I never mind. I got lost.
Rob called the jump before he made it. He called the jump before he made it. You were just too high to recognize it. You were just too high to recognize it. Well, let's talk about what's going on at the crib, man. Back in Chicago, the mayoral race is down to just two people, Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis. Brandon Johnson, the super progressive cat, and Paul Vallis, who is right of right.
He looks like he looks like a multiverse Dave Hellum. You know? If Dave had went into politics instead of writing comedy and produced an executive producer comedy. Shout out Dave Hellum.
Dave Hellum, love shout outs. Elizabeth Warren has endorsed Brandon Johnson for Chicago mayor, as have a number of actual aldermen. So he's even getting national endorsements from progressive people. Paul Vallis and his news basically came out recently at his Facebook page, like comments calling Chicago a hellhole and Chicago. So those are your options for mayor, Chicago. I don't know. It seems like a tough choice to me.
Hey.
Here's a dumb shit that's going on, though. I do want to add in this, though, before we talk about both of them. Here's dumb shit going around. Somebody posted a picture of a bunch of Brandon Johnson's. Like, you can look up government lawsuits against people and shit like that. You can look up, like, any legal actions against somebody. Somebody pulled up a random Illinois page of just the name Brandon Johnson and then a bunch of, like, legal actions taken. Like, trying to claim that it was Brandon Johnson's. But there's like 400 and some Brandon Johnsons in the state of Illinois.
So it was every one of them, probably. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like none of them are necessarily the Brandon Johnson we're talking about.
Nope.
Yeah.
17 of them go to this one, 2 or 3 go to that one. Yeah.
Hey man, look, he rides with the cops, man. So he's gonna go do some racist shit. Yeah, he's gonna go with some racist shit. That's got to be his pitch. Like, he's not getting any votes on the South Side. Although I am kind of upset that there seems to be a lot of black politicians dancing for this nigga.
Willie Wilson
and I don't get it. Willie Wilson endorsed him. Also, the former Secretary of State, the brother that was Secretary of State for
Jesse White.
Jesse White
endorsed.
But see, you know what that is? That's old niggas. Old niggas are worried about their house getting broken into by young brothers. Oh, don't nobody hate young black men like old black men.
Damn.
Because they stuck in the same neighborhood with them all the time. You know what I mean? Like white people, like old white men hate young black men, largely theoretically. You know what I mean? But old black men got to see young black men doing young black man shit every day.
I was literally in front of my mother's house with a dude that I know from the neighborhood, and he was like, "Man, these kids around here bad, man. They horrible. They doing XYZ. They doing blah blah blah." And they walk past me, and I go, "Hey, what's happening?" And both of them look, "Hey, man, how you doing, sir?" And they keep walking. And then I look at him. He was like, "Oh, those just two of the good ones. The rest of them terrible."
Yeah, man, it's a thing, man. People get older and they start being way more concerned about their safety. You know what I mean? Like, we all know people who have been in neighborhoods where like them old people just be at the windows all the time looking out, and ain't nothing going on in the goddamn neighborhood. Nothing's happening in the neighborhood at all. But the minute they show up, they got 12 stories about, well, this guy parks his car over here and this guy's cutting his lawn too close. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? In Mount Greenwood in Chicago, I'm in the Facebook group there, and they be posting shit all the time. People were going off yesterday because these two young cats that both look like, one looked like a brother, the other cat looked like he was, I don't know, some beige, some version of beige, and they walking out. So apparently they were walking down the street hollering shit about the police. And Mount Greenwood is a cop portion of Chicago. And they were hollering some shit about the police, and all these people are on there talking about these people are terrible. Somebody should do something about this. And I literally just like, these are just, if y'all believe in the right to free speech, and I know you do because you're true patriots, these men are breaking no laws. Now you can be offended. I understand that. Offended, sure, but don't say people should be doing something about that, because that's where the problems start. Okay,
you're right. Someone should do something about that.
Yeah, it's like no. These people are just doing their legal shit. Now they are actually harassing somebody or somebody who lives there wants to file a complaint. That's a whole nother story. But you just a passerby just mad because they yelling shit about, and you a pro cop motherfucker. Well, guess what? You got to swallow that. You just got to deal with that and just be upset in your own mind.
Hey,
and go home and cry about
it. America always brag about the First Amendment. We think of First Amendment as a great thing, and I've been raised to believe that. And here's the thing. Here's a problem with the First Amendment. It also gives you the right to be stupid, because if you have the right to say and believe anything, and say and believe anything, then now I know that's the only way you could grow. That's how our minds grow, because sometimes the motherfucker that believes a weird thing is right, but it also leaves so much room for stupid shit. The real concern
about free speech is curbing the smart shit. That's what everybody's actually concerned about, is curbing actual things that are necessary to be said. They're not the problem. The actual problem is it means that all the dumb shit gets said too, right? Yeah. Like you look like I was talking to somebody yesterday about how about Germany. They were talking about visiting a friend in Germany. They were talking about this friend they had over there who like was in a class and somebody had said something about Hitler made a joke or something like that, and like everybody lost it because like over there it's like verboten. You know what I mean? Like imagine if over here, yeah, right. Like imagine if over here you couldn't speak of like, you know, Jefferson Davis with any like gravitas at all, right? Like you just had to be like, we don't talk about that person is not, that's evil. You don't, you know what I mean? Like. It would you know, you can fly a Confederate flag here. You can't fly a swastika in Germany. You can't put out any of that shit. That shit is so like there are elements of what free speech means or what that are like important to be sussed out. And obviously there's a varying idea of what that is, because you got people like DeSantis down in Florida who are changing all types of shit, all these anti-trans laws that are going around. Like the shit is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So let's finish up on this. Chris Rock had a new special out this past week. It was done live at a theater in Baltimore with a pre-show and post-show that was done live at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. I don't know the last time or if ever that there was a full live stream of a stand-up special that's been done, especially not on streaming before. That's some brand new shit.
I can't remember if Carlin or even Pryor, if they were actually live on HBO. I don't know if they ever did that, like broadcast live on HBO, but streaming, I feel like this is a first.
I think Robin Williams did, I think for Live Aid, I think for one of those things with like Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, Live Aid was live. Live Aid was definitely live.
Yeah, so I think that may have been one of them. but Rock had his special, which was, you know, I feel like the first 15 minutes was done for somebody else. It seemed like the first 15 minutes was done for somebody else. And then he finally got into some shit that was like Rock like, but still had some hacky shit in there. Like the whole abortion setup that he had was like, you know, that's an indie. I mean, in a way, took like an indie club premise and brought that to like a stage to a special level.
I love the special. I like the special as a whole. I thought the abortion bit was like super like the punch card joke. Like I saw it coming before he did it, and I was like, yeah, next thing you know, he's gonna do the punch card joke, is what I thought to myself while I was watching, and then he did. And I was like, I think I actually said out loud, he actually did the punch card joke. Like, I think I said that out loud, and I was watching it by my fucking self.
Yeah. There was magic in it, right? Like there was some shit in there where I was like, oh, this is good. But there's a lot around it where I was like,
I like his attack on the Royals. I like his stuff about his kid. There was something else. There's a bit I keep forgetting, and I always think about it after I have this conversation. And I liked his ending. I know some people thought he should have done this or that. I like the way he set up the getting to talk about Will, and then when he let loose on them, and then also the little nugget of having done the special in Baltimore.
I think that I think one of the things that makes, I think for people that like the special, the reason why they liked is because what Chris Rock does very well is formulate the order of operations of his specials, right? Like the bit that he does about his kid is the last bit he does before he goes into the Will Smith shit. And that bit is a powerful bit in a number of different ways, right? Like the bit about Lola, that whole progress from abortion into the bit about Lola is like, that's the strongest part of the set, honestly. And he's got to talk about the Will Smith shit, and it's got to be it's either got to be the opener or the closer. It's the only option, right? And if it's the opener, it's light, but if it's not going to be the opener, then it's got to be the hard shit at the end. And so he does, and so that I think for people that like it, I think that's what they're getting, is like he has formulated this in a way where the first 15 minutes you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you're like, oh, okay, here's Chris Rock, and you're like, wow, that's fucking powerful. And then he does a thing that he had to do anyway, and he finds a way to make that work also. And so from that aspect, like, yeah, that works. I think calling a special selective outrage he's either putting himself in there on purpose, because this is a guy who's like bemoaning at one point the fact that people can do things for the likes, right? Everybody's doing things for the likes. They want to be, here are the ways you become famous on social media. You can either show your ass but it's just easier to show your ass, right? That's his whole thing. And he kind of is complaining about that a little bit, but he's also later on talking about don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Well, like if you're going to hate the game, then you got to hate a system that creates a situation in which you can get famous for likes. I think it's great people be famous for showing their ass, or like sitting on TikTok looking at, hey man, if you can make $1 million doing that, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad that we have a system in which you can make $1 million for liking a video. That's not on you. If I could find a way to make $1 million doing that, I would also make that $1 million, right? Like,
I think it's amazing that people can get famous for showing their ass. I have seen more ass than any man in my family in history, going back as far as you can go back. No man in my family has seen more ass than the men of my generation. And I've probably seen more than most of them.
But he calls it selective outrage. And so it's funny to me because he is also a man who's having selective outrage about what he's assigned to be upset about. So I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but there's also a bit where, oh, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he calls it selective outrage. And I think that is pretty fitting considering, this man is out here also selectively outraged about some shit.
Yeah. One of the things that bothered me in the negative, there was both sides. A lot of people loved it, a lot of people were negative. But the people were complaining with the negative shit, where they were like, oh my God, it was a year ago, get over it. And oh my God,
it takes a year to put a special out, man.
Not just that it takes a year to put a special out. If you Hey man, it's some dudes that I feel might have got a one up on me when we were 10. If I see that nigga, it's on.
Right. Yeah.
You talk about get over it as a year ago. It was on live TV, one of the most watched things in the world. And you talking about get over it. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's such an absurd thing to tell somebody on anything, but especially something that was as public and is widely spoken.
How does he? I mean, he had to talk about that, dude. There's no way he can't talk about that. Yeah. Rob, what were you gonna say?
I haven't seen the entire thing. I've seen a couple snippets, and what I saw, I thought was what a special supposed to be. Like my opinion doesn't have to gel with anyone else's. I don't give a shit what you think, how I feel about whatever. It is my right to point out the absurdity as I see it, and sometimes the absurdity may look like I see it as a positive, but it's still a joke. So I'm to the point now where I don't really care what anybody says, because that doesn't dictate policy. It only explains.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And for me, I whatever, say what you want to say, but just be prepared for the response, right? And then a lot of times the response don't even matter, because what's the point of me getting to argue with you in this club? It don't mean nothing.
Right. Yeah. And I think, at the end of someone, as people who are in comedy, I think at the end of the day, like, you write your shit out the way that you best can and you do your thing, and like that's a wrap, right? Like, that's how he felt about some shit, and that's how I put out. I still think that, like, the real shining thing is about the structure of what he actually did. I think the structure was in a way where I was like, I can see how this is built like a professional, right? Like, this is a professional set that just happened in front of you. What were you gonna say, X?
I just there's another thing. I've moved my position on this. I've heard a lot of people talk about why him and Chappelle say, like, they seem to support Elon Musk, or they seem to like Elon Musk. Right. And at first I was with that, like, angry about that, but then I realized if I knew somebody with a functioning rocket ship, I might be cool with that. I might be cool with that.
Hey man, you're gonna need a comedian in space for my kids and shit. Just take me.
I will say this. There's a moment early where it became apparent, and I think they talked about this with Chappelle at one point, where they were like, he has transcended the racial part and is now really just part of a class system. Because at one point, you can tell that Chris Rock is no longer part of the Black community as like a member of that, and he's now just part of the wealthy people versus the non-wealthy people, because he talks about seeing like wokeness and marginalized groups as something that he should be opting into or out of, where he's just like, oh yeah, I support marginalized groups. And it's like, nigga, you are a marginalized group. Like, you Black, nigga, did you stop being Black for this? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you support wokeness, nigga, you Black. How you not supporting? What the fuck are you talking about, dog? Oh, you support teaching the actual history of slavery? Well, good on you, nigga. You're supposed to be. Like, we're so grateful to have your Black ass recognize the importance of Blackness. Like, what the fuck? Like, there was that moment though where I was like, it hit me when he did it. I was like, oh shit, this nigga doesn't really see himself as like part of of Black people in general. Like, he's Black and he's like, I'm Black, but he doesn't see himself like homie on 63rd right now. Like, that's a different thing from him.
Dude, he even kind of says it later on, because he talks about his brother. Like, he does a joke about his father was trans, and he does his brother, who's a trucker, a regular guy.
Yeah, you know right.
Like, motherfucker, this your big brother. You've been Chris Rock for 30 fucking years. That nigga's not a trucker. Like, this your older brother? So you trying to tell us that your 60-something-year-old brother still drives an 18-wheeler? You a piece of shit, Chris Rock. If you're 60,
you could throw him 1 milli?
Yeah, you couldn't take care of your big brother, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? So he's doing that. He's trying to everyman that shit.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
For me, I just thought maybe the nigga used to drive a truck before he became Chris Rock. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's what he meant, man. I was just trying to fuck with the joke. I was running with the joke. I was Fox Newsing it, my nigga. I was Fox Newsing it. I didn't mean any of that shit. Good material.
X, what you got going on this week, man? You anywhere? You somewhere? You living big?
On the 19th, this will probably be out around then. On the 19th, I'm up in Milwaukee at the Keg Stand.
Nice. Rob, what you got going on?
Oh my goodness, there's so very much. We are currently launching in relationship to the Toby Jones tour and the tour, we are about to launch the Rhythmical Remix Contest during March Madness, where you get the opportunity to remix the Toby Jones song and shoot back to me what you got. We put it up, and the best one wins some shit. I don't know what I'm gonna give you yet, but I give you something.
Where can people find more information on that? Is there information coming out? Is there a place they should go to keep up with what's happening with that?
Absolutely. Robert_L_Hines on both YouTube and Instagram. You can go to Robert L. Hines 1 on Twitter. I opened up the Twitter again. I'm learning it. It's cool. And then also Robert L. Hines on TikTok.
Hell yeah. XL, what are your socials, man?
It's XL Comedy Show on IG. I know it just says XL Comedy up there because I used to be on Twitter there. I'm still on Twitter at that address, but I don't really be fucking with Twitter. Fuck Elon. He's fucking around, punk ass. He not putting my fat ass in a rocket ship. Fuck him. And Xavier XL Lamont on Facebook.
Oh yeah. We have a show on the 14th coming up called Sneaky Links Comedy at the Hollywood Palm Cinema. That's the next big banger we got coming. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us at New OGs Pod on Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you for sticking with us for this time. This has been a hilarious show. Catch us back here when we're here next week for another one. That's it. We out of here. That's what's up.
Peace.
Go
Diamonds and small sand cheese. Can't find too many better than me. All about getting cheddar and D. Guala mozzarella, parmesan on cheese. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Yeah, whole lot of niggas changed since we came.